Welcome. Selamat datang yang baru datang. Thank you very much for being on time. Terima kasih sudah tepat waktu. Kita akan mulai jam 7 tepat ya. Okay, let's start. Are you ready? I hope you guys are ready. So, good evening, everyone. So, my name is Ivana. Yeah, you can call me Miss Fan or Miss Ivana. I'm from With English. Thank you very much for joining today's webinar. And before we get started, I would like to go over a few things so you know how to participate in this event. So, selamat sore semuanya. Hari ini kita akan membahas tentang public speaking, terutama speech atau pidato dalam bahasa Inggris. Nah, sebelum kita mulai, ini kita akan membahas beberapa hal dulu ya. So, first of all, you will have the opportunity to submit questions. Jadi kalian bisa nanti bertanya di chat, di bagian chat. Kalian bisa bertanya anytime during the presentation. Selama presentasi kalian bisa bertanya kepada presenter. Okay, so today we are presenting public speaking speech presented by Jelin Prastika, one of our beloved tutors at With English. She has a lot of experiences in public speaking, especially speech. Okay, now I will tell you some of her achievements in public speaking, especially speech. Yeah, she has a lot of them. So first of all, she participated in She participated in speech competition at international competition held by Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia, and she got the second prize, guys. And in 2017, she participated in speech competition at Asian English Olympic held by Bina Nusantara University. And in the same year, she also participated in speech competition at ALSA National English Competition held by Law Faculty of University of Indonesia. Wow. In 2018, she participated in paper presentation at ALSA National English Competition held by Law Faculty of University of Indonesia, and she got the second prize. In 2019, she participated in Pemilihan Mahasiswa Berprestasi tingkat LL Dikti Wilayah 2, and she got the first place, guys. So she was the best student, college student at that time. And then in the same year, 2019, she was one of the speech adjudicators at Semarak Bahasa dan Seni held by FGIP University of Lampung. In 2020, she was the guest speaker for language and educational seminar held by University of Teknokrat Indonesia and one of the adjudicators for online speech competition at Lampung Overland Various English Competition 2020 held by University of Lampung. Wow, banyak sekali achievement-nya dari Miss Jelin dalam bidang public speaking ya. Okay, without further ado, I will give the time to Miss Jelin. Okay, semoga semuanya sudah siap ya. Wait a moment. Yeah, Miss Jelin, time's yours. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm sorry guys, we'll have break for about 5 minutes. Ya, kita akan break selama 5 menit menunggu azan. Ya, thank you for waiting out. Oh ya, by the way, kalian bisa coba kirim chat di chat box nggak? Oke, Adi Mawardi. Halo. This Pretty. Ya, kita udah mulai. Tadi baru pengenalan tentang pengenalan presenter hari ini. Kita akan lanjut lagi setelah azan ya. Halo Syafa, halo Maifa. Thank you for joining this webinar. Okay, hello everyone. Thank you very much for waiting. Terima kasih sudah menunggu. Kita akan mulai lagi ya, lanjutkan acaranya. By the way, Miss Zelin, I think you can start now.
Okay, thank you very much. In a moment. Okay, hello everyone. Am I audible? Right.
By the way, kita coba tes dulu ya, teman-teman. Apakah bisa melihat dan mendengar Miss Zelin dengan jelas? Silakan tulis di chat ya. Bisa Kak? Oke. Bisa ya?
Audible
Oke,
ya?
great. Audible ya? Oke, great.
Thank you very much. Right. Okay, jelas. All right. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's really nice to meet you all here in this session of With Talk, right? And I am thrilled tonight to meet you all on this special occasion. First of all, untuk yang baru join, my name is Zelin and I have been a tutor in With English for a few months now. Dan di kesempatan kali ini, aku bakal share nih pengalaman di salah satu public speaking yang udah aku ikutin dari pertama kali masuk ke dunia perkuliahan. And that is speech atau pidato. If you join with talk dari Twitternya with English, last 2 weeks we had a space with Mr. Alvin. Topiknya itu tentang how to be a better MC. Nah, if you were there and you attend this session again, congratulations, because you will be getting another tips on public speaking, specifically on speech. Right. In a minute. All right. I'm going to start with sharing a little bit about my experience when I joined speech division in my campus. So dulu aku jadi maba as English literature student, we were introduced to unit kegiatan mahasiswa that is called English Club. I thought at that time, since I am studying English literature, I have to make English Club as my priority before I join other students' organizations. Jadi di Stadium General kita diperkenalkan ke banyak divisi public speaking. Ada debate, ada newscasting, ada storytelling, ada juga speech division. Nah, at that moment I thought speech yang ada di divisi UKM English Club ini, speech yang ada di English Club ini tuh bakalan pretty similar dengan pidato-pidato yang pernah aku lihat, yang pernah aku dengar, baik itu dari acara webinar lainnya, television, atau pas menghadiri seminar, acara offline before the pandemic, right? But turns out in a competition, speech itself is, speech offers me lots of interesting thing to learn. Jadi, nggak selamanya speech itu berisi tentang sambutan, congratulating someone gitu. Jadi speech juga bisa dipakai untuk memotivasi pendengarnya atau bahkan untuk sharing informasi terkait suatu isu dan how this speaker solve the issue, dan yang terakhir bisa jadi juga untuk menghibur audiensnya. Well, and that's a little bit about my experience on speech division when I was at college here. So let's start the talk about delivering a speech. And let me begin by recalling our activity. Sebagian dari kita di with talk sesi kali ini udah ada yang kerja. Some of us go to school or college. Nah, dari kegiatan yang kita lakukan sehari-hari, ada momen di mana kita harus melakukan public speaking. Mau nggak mau mungkin, ada pengalaman atau enggak, public speaking mungkin dibutuhkan di saat-saat tertentu. Contohnya nih, misalnya untuk pekerja, kita harus melakukan presentasi terkait hasil kerja dari bulan-bulan tertentu, apa yang sudah dicapai, apa yang menjadi tantangannya, dan juga pekerjaan apa yang sedang dalam progres gitu. Ada juga nih dari kita yang jadi teman dekat atau kerabat diundang to a wedding ceremony. There we are asked to make a toast. Nah, jadi kita berpidato mengenai the happy couple at the ceremony, right? Atau kita mendapatkan undangan birthday party dan kita diminta langsung untuk menyampaikan atau memberikan ucapan selamat kepada birthday friend. Nah, ini once in a while moment ya, but it requires public speaking anyway. Another occasion is that as students and also as college student, I did experience in joining some public speaking competitions, but aside from that, public speaking itu juga diperlukan untuk melakukan misalnya ada tugas presentasi di mata pelajaran tertentu gitu, atau kalau mahasiswa akhir kita butuh yang namanya melakukan seminar proposal dan juga sidang akhir untuk kelulusan ya. It requires public speaking. Nah, from these occasions we are obliged not only to be able to speak but also to get our point across. Jadi nggak cuma ngomongnya aja, tapi kita juga harus bisa sukses dalam menyampaikan pesan, gitu, melalui speech, melalui presentasi kita, melalui toast kita. Well, when we deliver our words, entah itu dalam bentuk presentasi, toast, speech, ucapan selamat sederhana di depan teman-teman untuk teman yang berulang tahun, we are speaker, right? And we have audience. There, the audience expect to hear something new from us, atau sesuatu yang bisa menginspirasi, menyemangati, atau informasi baru, right? Has anyone here ever delivered a speech for any purposes? For competition, for a wedding ceremony, for a birthday party? That's a kind of challenging moment, right? And so today, on this WIT talk, I'm gonna share my behind the scene experience for the preparation when I participated in speech competition. Jadi aku mau share pengalaman behind the scene preparation speech-nya waktu mau turun ke beberapa lomba speech itu sendiri. Okay, and first of all, let's talk about what is speech itself. Well, speech is a type of public speaking to express ideas, untuk memotivasi audience, untuk menginspirasi audience, atau untuk menghibur audience. And there are many types of speech. The most common one, here I have prepared and also impromptu speech. Dua tipe speech ini tuh yang paling common dijumpai di kompetisi speech, right? Apa yang membedakan keduanya? Waktu persiapan. Prepared speech bisa jadi memberikan speakernya waktu persiapan days, weeks, atau even months, berbulan-bulan. Kita bisa mempersiapkan naskah speech-nya, revisi bagian yang perlu diimprove, membuang bagian yang nggak perlu, bahkan sampai ke latihan delivery speech, penyampaian speech-nya, memonitor body language, intonation-nya. Berbeda dengan impromptu speech, impromptu ini waktunya lebih singkat. Kebanyakan di competition, impromptu speech itu dibuat dalam waktu 15 sampai 30 menit yang paling lama. Nah, kenapa mendadak banget nih? Ya, karena jenis impromptu speech ini kita menerima topiknya 15 sampai 30 menit sebelum kita tampil gitu. Jadi buat speech OTS on the spot, and yes, we don't have that much time to revise our draft, to monitor our body language, untuk punya waktu buat pelatihan gitu, sekedar opening. Nah, mungkin nggak sebanyak yang prepared speech. Okay, and today's talk are applicable for both prepared and also impromptu speech. Okay, that is on types of speech. What is important in speech itself? For our English, tiga-tiganya sih menurut aku ya penting ya gitu. Ketika kita punya waktu untuk mempersiapkan, kita harus mempertimbangkan ketiga-tiganya gitu, harus balance. Dan di sesi kali ini, I'm gonna be focused more on discussing content and also speech delivery, specifically untuk persiapan motivational speech. Jadi di lomba yang pernah aku ikuti itu ada banyak jenis speech, mulai dari motivational speech, informative speech, table topic speech. Nah, kali ini aku mau share pengalaman aku di preparation buat motivational speech. Okay? The first thing we do before we deliver speech is, of course, we need to prepare our content, right? We need to write our draft. No draft, no speech, ladies and gentlemen, right? And it is very important for us to understand our draft. Kenapa penting? Karena we don't want our speech isinya cuma problem, misalnya. Banyak problem, solusinya dikit. Solusinya nggak mengatasi semua masalah yang kita sajikan di speech. Atau malahan porsi problemnya mengambil seluruh bagian speech. That's gonna be red flag for our speech, right? Kenapa? Kita nggak mungkin menyampaikan pidato yang hanya berisikan masalah untuk audience. Of course, audience would like to listen to our speech because they would like to get new point of view terkait suatu topik. That is why it is crucial to understand our draft. There is one guideline di public speaking, khususnya speech, yang bisa membantu kita dalam menulis naskah speech, right? And this guideline provides us a map on what should we write for our draft. Apa sih guideline-nya? Nah, ada 3 poin nih. Yang pertama itu ada introduction, yang kedua ada body, yang ketiga ada conclusion. It's like we have opening, we have the body, and we have the closing. And these 3 points resembles an iceberg to me. Why? Introduction itu bagian yang harusnya terlihat, dalam artian mudah ditangkap oleh audience. Nah, di bagian body, kita mendiskusikan both masalah dan juga solution. That's why bagian body ini harusnya mengambil porsi yang lebih besar dibandingkan opening dan juga conclusion. Nah, yang terakhir, conclusion ini berisi rangkuman speech yang kita sampaikan dan diakhiri dengan kata-kata ataupun pesan. Bisa memotivasi, bisa menginspirasi, bisa menghibur, yang mengingatkan audiens pada speech yang kita sampaikan. Guideline ini quite general, karena in some impromptu situation di mana aku pernah harus misalnya memberikan tanggapan gitu terhadap memberikan tanggapan, misalnya ada program baru dan aku harus memberikan tanggapan, atau misalnya ada program kerja yang sudah terlaksana, apa yang kurang. Nah, this guideline is quite helpful for me karena di impromptu situation itu I don't have that much time untuk prepare apa yang harus disampaikan, right? So if I have these 3 points with me, then I am safe. I know what to say. I know what to prepare. I have to open first my what I'm gonna say, and then I have to talk about what is the problem, what is the possible solution, and then I need to conclude all talks, right? Salah satu pengalaman di mana aku make 3 poin ini tuh waktu XL Future Leader Goes to Campus, kalau nggak salah itu di tahun 2019. Ada focus group discussion, so we were presented a problem, we need to discuss with our group, and then we need to present the result of discussion. Dan itu semua dilakukan dalam waktu 30 menit. Nah, diskusinya iya, terus persiapan presentasinya iya. Dalam 30 menit itu cukup singkat ya. Ada banyak anggota dalam satu grup. So we need to manage our time. Pada saat penyampaian hasil diskusi, aku kebetulan menjadi perwakilan grup yang ditunjuk untuk mempresentasikan hasil dari diskusi grup kami nih. Nah, pada saat itu, karena we have like around 10 minutes left to prepare for the presentation, so it's the quickest way to pick this guideline. I have introduction, I have body of the poin-poin yang mau disampaikan, dan I have the conclusion, and that's it. Okay, and that's enough. That is pretty helpful, right? Now, I'm going to discuss about these 3 points further. First is about the introduction, right? How to open a speech. Well, we can start with thought-provoking lines. Kita bisa mulai speech dengan kalimat yang menggugah pikiran audiens. Kenapa nih harus yang thought-provoking? It's quite common in public speaking. Ada rule yang namanya the first 30 seconds, right? Nah, this first 30 seconds adalah momen yang sangat krusial, baik untuk speaker dan untuk audiens. Untuk speaker, 30 detik pertama itu menentukan apakah speech-nya akan sukses. Nah, untuk audiens, 30 detik pertama ini akan menentukan mau dengerin sampai selesai nggak ya, gitu. Nah, karena 30 detik pertama ini momen penentuan, so as a speaker, we need to use thought-provoking lines yang bisa mengajak audiens berinteraksi dengan speech kita dan tidak meninggalkan audiens gitu saat kita memulai speech. Nah, cara yang pertama yang bisa kita lakukan untuk membuka speech yang thought-provoking sekaligus efektif adalah dengan memulai dengan sebuah pertanyaan. Why a question? It's more effective ketika kita melemparkan pertanyaan ke audiens. Kenapa? Karena secara tidak langsung audiens akan akan merasa diminta untuk menjawab gitu. Jadi engage ke opening speech yang kita lakukan. Pertanyaannya adalah, apakah semua jenis question bisa kita jadikan opening untuk speech? Well, there are criteria. Yang pertama, throw short question. Avoid using long sentences for your opening. Kenapa? Kalau udah dari awal kalimatnya itu terlalu panjang untuk diikuti, audiens juga akan kehilangan fokusnya. That's why short and brief sentences work more effective compared to the longer sentences. Nah, yang kedua, usahakan pertanyaannya itu menanyakan pertanyaannya itu yang tipe yes or no question. So it demands quick response from the audience. Tapi gimana nih kalau misalnya aku ada pertanyaan, jawabannya itu bukan yes or no. Bisa aja, tapi usahakan pertanyaannya itu yang membutuhkan brief answer atau jawaban yang singkat. Nggak mungkin dong kita mau tanya yang jawabannya itu kayak essay gitu kan. It's not gonna be effective anyway. Here I provide an example of a question that we can use to open a speech. If you could tell your younger self any one thing, what would it be? The main question here is what would it be, right? But here, there is a short scenario. If you could tell your younger self any one thing. Nah, jadi di sini sebagai limitation, I put one thing so that the audience will not need to think longer answer. What is the function of this question anyway? Well, we do not expect audiens itu untuk berinteraksi secara langsung, menjawab dengan lantang gitu. Tapi dengan melempar question ke audiens, kita berharap audiens akan melakukan mental activity di mana mereka menjawab gitu, meskipun dalam pikiran ataupun bergumam, right? That means mereka, mereka ada engagement ke speech kita, and that is exactly what we want, gitu. Kita nggak mau ketika kita memulai speech, kita meninggalkan audience, gitu. We would like to start a speech that is memorable for our audience. Jadi ketika audience meninggalkan ruangan atau kita selesai dengan speech, at least our opening is with them, gitu. Karena di speech ada 3 hal yang diingat oleh audiens. Yang pertama itu lasting yang kita ucapkan. Yang kedua itu adalah yang pertama itu lasting, yang kedua itu opening, dan yang terakhir itu adalah I forget. Oh, the topic of the speech itself. Okay, and that is on starting a speech with a question. Ada satu cara lagi untuk ngebuat speech yang thought provoking, and it is using a quote. Kita boleh ngambil quotation dari perkataan famous figures. Bisa jadi dari famous line atau best line from a movie, boleh dari potongan lirik lagu atau bait dari puisi. Okay. Here I put an example. Sometimes the right path is not the easiest one. Ada yang familiar nggak sama quote ini? It's a line from Pocahontas movie, right? What you need to make sure ketika kita picking a quote is be careful of a quotation, dari siapa kita ambil, dari konten apa, dari film apa gitu. Karena untuk menghindari hate speech. What is hate speech? Hate speech adalah speech yang isinya itu memojokkan ataupun menjelekkan suatu kelompok. And that is absolutely inappropriate, right? Karena kita berbicara di depan umum, of course, why do we intentionally do a hate speech, right? So be careful in picking quote. Nah, 2 cara ini tadi, membuka speech dengan question, dengan quote, akan efektif menarik perhatian penonton. 2 cara tersebut dapat membuat fokus penonton atau audience tertuju pada kita, speaker. Nah, selain itu, ada satu benefit yang sangat kita butuhkan, yaitu interaksi. Interaction is what we are looking for here in speech, because kita nggak cuma speech satu arah, tapi kita juga mau berkomunikasi dengan audience, right? Ketika audience merasa dilibatkan dalam speech, maka mereka akan mendengarkan speech sampai selesai. And that is how to open speech. Tadi itu tentang introduction, openingnya. Next to discuss is about the body of the speech. Nah, di guideline umum, ini memang adanya satu ya body gitu. But kalau dilihat lagi, dalam badan speech, di bagian body of speech, kita punya 2 poin penting yang harus disampaikan. Yang pertama adalah problem, yang kedua solution. Right. Jadi delivering speech is not about saying motivational words all the time gitu. Karena untuk bisa memotivasi, khususnya dalam motivational speech, of course, there should be a problem first gitu, supaya pesan yang kita sampaikan lebih memorable pada audiensnya. Okay, and addressing the issue should be on the second part after the opening of the speech. Dalam motivational speech sendiri ada satu cara yang efektif untuk memperkenalkan masalah ke membawa problem ke dalam speech. And I used it often. It is to start with a story. Untuk banyak competition yang mempunyai motivational speech sebagai salah satu roundnya, starting with a story is quite common gitu. It's not exactly storytelling, tapi kita menyisipkan masalah dalam bentuk cerita. Satu pertanyaan lagi yang sama, apakah semua cerita itu bisa dipakai untuk memperkenalkan masalah dalam speech? Well, there are criteria again. Ada 3 hal yang biasanya aku pakai untuk menuliskan masalah dalam draft speech. Yang pertama, of course, to remember using simple sentences. Yang kedua, ketika ada banyak cerita untuk dibawa ke speech, make sure that we filter to the most relatable story gitu. Kita mau menyampaikan sesuatu yang sebagian audiens mungkin bisa merasakan gitu, mengalaminya atau mungkin akan mengalami. Karena nggak menutup kemungkinan di antara audiens ada yang tertarik untuk mendengarkan ketika ini problem yang pernah aku alami nih gitu, atau ya ini bisa aja nih kejadian di kehidupan aku. Well, the audience might want to find new point of view untuk melihat masalahnya dan juga menyelesaikannya gitu. So if we share a relatable story, that will be a plus. The last one, it is okay to share our story in a regular manner gitu, kayak go with the flow. Kita buka masalahnya nih apa, lalu kita buka ceritanya dulu, lalu kita bilang, this is the problem, right? So it's regular, it's okay. But if we can put a plot twist in a story, that will be a plus. Gitu. Jadi kita nggak gamblang menceritakan siapa yang menghadapi masalah ini atau apa sih sebenarnya masalah terbesarnya gitu. Kita bungkus dulu dengan cerita gitu. So we are kind of giving a surprise to the audience. And here is the example. I talked to a stranger I knew very well today. On the face of the stranger, I saw confusion, rage, and sadness. I asked, have you been disappointed lately? But no answer. Just that face grew sourer as I stared deep into the mirror in front of me. Okay. Di sini aku nggak langsung ngomong bahwa yang kecewa itu adalah diri aku, langsung gitu. Jadi aku menganalogikan bahwa ada diri aku yang merasa kecewa, and I refer to that self as stranger. Nah, dari plot twist ini, I would like to build an atmosphere di mana audiens itu tahu juga problemnya. Oh, dirinya yang strange ini adalah sisi yang baru, yang belum pernah ditemui, gitu. Kenapa persoalannya? Karena dia kecewa, right? And this method I learned from one of the famous science fiction movie called Snowpiercer, karyanya Bong Joon-ho, if I'm not mistaken. Jadi ada salah satu scene di mana ada cerita yang pilu salah satu karakter harus makan sesama human gitu. But the way this character told the story, dia tidak langsung berkata bahwa I ate them gitu. Jadi ada plot twistnya, and that's kind of nice way to put story, right? So we have a little surprise in it. That is on how to narrate problem in motivational speech that I often use for my speech draft. Well, next, second part of body of speech is solution. Kita nggak mungkin hanya berbicara tentang problem ya. That's a red flag gitu. If we bring problem to our speech, we of course need to bring solution with it. And there are two ways that I use most of the time to present solution into my speech. Yang pertama itu melalui narasi. Jadi kelanjutan dari narasi di bagian problem, so I continue the story and then I make the character meet the turning point to realize there is a solution for the problem. Nah, salah satu bentuk contohnya ini adalah draft speech aku dari Asian English Olympic di tahun 2017. Topiknya adalah conquering fear atau untuk mengatasi ketakutan. So I'm using the story of a bird here untuk menganalogikan keadaanku waktu itu. Before the final statement, I said, birds need to fly even when they can walk. And I need to reach higher even when I can be ordinary. Because by reaching higher, I would only be able to train myself to overcome my fear. Okay. Nah, di sini bentuk solusinya itu dalam narasi. Yang kedua, penyajian solusi itu bisa dibuat dalam bentuk poin. Nah, biasanya poin ini akan efektif untuk impromptu speech. Kenapa? Most of the time, impromptu speech itu temanya mengangkat dari isu-isu sosial yang terjadi di masyarakat. So, the points will be helpful for us to organize our solution. Bisa mulai dari yang spesifik ke yang general, ataupun dari general ke spesifik jika dibutuhkan. Salah satunya pernah aku buat di draft speech untuk speech competition di tahun 2017 ALSA UI. At that time, the theme of the speech adalah saving young generation from moral degradation, menyelamatkan generasi muda dari degradasi moral. And I use family as the solution to save young generation. Ada 3 poin di situ. I said, first, family as a role model. Second, family as a friend. The last one, family as home. But ketika menyampaikan poin dari solusi ini, itu enggak 1, 2, 3 terus selesai. No, it's not done in that way. Instead, setelah menyebutkan poin pertama, kita juga harus menjelaskan what do we mean by that? Apa kontribusinya dalam penyelesaian masalah. Dilakukan dari poin 1, poin 2, sampai poin ketiga. In that way, we're gonna have a balanced proportion antara problem dan juga solution. It's gonna be better if we have more portion to talk in solution part. Gitu. Jadi lebih komprehensif untuk dibahas. Nah, itu tadi 2 cara untuk menyajikan solusi dalam speech. Yang terakhir adalah conclusion. Di conclusion ada salah satu part yang bisa dipakai untuk penutupan speech. So instead of saying greeting, we can close with call to action. Call to action ini isinya adalah pesan, bisa juga quote lagi, ataupun motivational words. We want our speech to be remembered, right? Dan hal pertama yang akan diingat audiens ketika selesai mendengarkan speech adalah the last thing we said. So, call to action is the right way to be powerful about our speech, tentang message yang kita mau sampaikan. Here is the example. from one of my speech drafts. Our age may grow older, but ladies and gentlemen, being young is the art of getting excited about life itself. And after you finish saying the call to action, you can close your speech by saying thank you, and that's it. You leave the audience with a message, and also you excuse yourself to finish your speech by saying thank you. That is proper way to end your speech. Very well. That's about the content on the speech. And here is the next thing. When you have your speech content ready, the next step you need to prepare is your delivery, penyampaiannya. Okay. I have 3 points to to be paid attention at. The first thing is to communicate with audience. Ingat, speech is not one-way communication, but we want to include our audience di speech kita. So we need to interact. Kita harus ada interaksi sama audiensnya. Caranya apa aja nih untuk bisa interaksi sama audiens? Ada 3. Yang pertama, melalui eye contact, right? Yang kedua, pace atau kecepatan berbicara. Dan yang terakhir, melalui intonation, nada bicara. Nah, eye contact, kita nggak mungkin hanya menatap satu arah saja ketika kita punya a room filled with audience. So we need to distribute our attention to the whole room. Yang kedua, related to pace, ketika kita menyampaikan informasi baru, beri jeda kepada audiens untuk mencerna. Okay. Jadi supaya audiens juga bisa menerima informasinya dan nggak lupa gitu aja. And pace is very important in speech. Okay. It is one of many things that differentiate speech and also debate. Yang terakhir ada intonation. If you have a line that should be expressed with excitement, then you need to be excited. Kalau ada line yang menciptakan kesedihan, kayak di bagian problem, you also need to show the sadness side. Okay, jadi nggak bisa sama all the time. And that is a trick is on how to communicate with audience. The next thing about delivery is to be aware of our body language. Okay, I got feedback, constructive feedback after delivering a speech in Asian Olympic 2017. One of our adjudicators from Toastmaster said that instead of pointing at somebody in the middle of many audience by using index finger, it is safe for us to show this hand gesture. It is considered to be more polite compared when we use index finger. And it is inappropriate for us when we speak in front of audience, hiding our hands inside pockets if we have no mic to hold. Okay, why? Hands, because hands bisa memperkuat message yang mau kita sampaikan, gitu. Hand gesture dapat memperkuat apa yang kita sampaikan ke audience dengan catatan. Ini butuh latihan supaya nggak distraktif, gitu. Supaya gerakan tangannya itu nggak berulang-ulang yang menyebabkan audience malah terganggu jadinya. Okay. That is on body language. And most of the time di competition, we don't have podium. Okay. Sometimes kita juga nggak menggunakan mic gitu. Kita hanya memiliki space di depan, ada adjudicator dan di belakangnya ada audience. Or it's kind of different now since it's a pandemic, everything is online. But if you will ever experience to deliver a speech in front of audience offline, then imagine that you have that stage for you yourself. Then you need to be comfortable with that space. Okay, you will not just stand in one spot, but you need to You need to practice to be able to use the space that you have, gitu. Nggak perlu gerakan yang mondar-mandir terlalu sering, but we cannot at least, for example, kita berbicara mengenai problem di satu sisi, lalu kita berbicara mengenai solusi yang pertama, bergerak ke sisi panggung lainnya. That's gonna help. That is one of way to distribute our attention to the audience as well. The last for speech delivery is conquering stage fright. Demam panggung. Kebanyakan public speaking causing stage fright gitu. Ada yang mungkin sampai sulit untuk dikontrol. Nah, here are some tips to conquer stage fright. Yang pertama, of course, be prepared, right? There is no other way to be less nervous aside from be ready untuk menyampaikan materi speech-nya. Jadi, of course, number one, practice is very necessary. The second one is reduce the stimulant. Karena ketika nervous, detak jantung kita itu lebih kerasa lebih cepat ya. So please avoid yang menyebabkan detak jantung itu makin sulit untuk dikontrol. Karena nanti nervousnya juga makin susah untuk dikontrol. That's kind of easy. The last one is like normalize the stage fright itself. Mau seberapapun sudah latihan, merasa sudah siap, pasti adrenalin itu ada. Bahkan sebelum menginjakkan kaki di panggung, atau bahkan saat mengucapkan opening, kata pertama. And it's normal to be nervous. If we are aware feeling nervous is just a normal feeling before we deliver speech, then it will help us to reduce stage fright itself. So it will be easier for us to stay calm and then keep everything under control. Right? That is for delivering speech behind the scene. I have talked about content and also delivery. So I hope that you take a note from this session, because it's not always in a competition situation that we need this manner, but any public speaking will work if you apply the manner of delivery and also the content from the 3 points that I shared previously. Thank you very much. Now, back to Ms. Ivana.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Jelin, for the presentation. Wah, keren banget. Thank you very much. Tips and tricksnya bisa banget digunakan buat kalian yang pengen bisa public speaking. Karena public speaking itu bakalan sering banget kalian lakukan baik di dunia kuliah ataupun kerja ya. Oke, nah buat sekarang kita akan masuk ke section Q&A. Silahkan tanya di kolom chat buat kalau kalian ada pertanyaan tentang speech atau public speaking atau bahasa Inggris secara general juga boleh. Oh, ada nih Ani mau bicara ya? Oke. Halo Ani.
Hai kakak.
Ya silahkan.
Bye.
Perkenalan dulu baru bertanya.
Okay, my name is Ani. I'm from Padang, West Sumatra.
Halo.
And
Padang,
halo.
wow.
Yeah, Padang, West Sumatra.
Okay, what's the question, Ani?
Okay, to Miss Celine, I'm really thoughtful on your speech that's about some motivation and also trick and tips to do some speech in English, whether in English or Indonesia. I think it's applicable and so thoughtful. So I feel so I think I have to say thank you for that, for your speech. And my question is about during speech, during speech process, when we
Delivery,
are sorry,
speech
uh,
delivery.
yeah, when we are delivering our speech, and then we forgot all about our speech. We forgot about the some vocabulary that we have practiced before, or we found there is what we call that some disturbance, or some problem that find on our audience in front of us. So how is the polite way to overcome that the problem that come to us when we are delivering our speech, and then we can we forgot, we blank, we feel blank, and then our audience like give pandangan yang buruk terhadap kita, or some laughing at us. So how is the polite way to overcome that situation? Thank you, Ms. Zelin.
Okay, thank you very much, Annie, for the question. I think Miss Jalen can answer now.
It's like a common situation yang paling ditakutkan dari seluruh speaker ya pada saat lomba. Karena it's not impossible that a single moment itu bisa jadi penyebab lupanya semua draft speech yang udah kita I'm gonna talk this as my first point, and then second point is this, and then third point is this. But suddenly we got distracted and then blank, right? Okay. What if we forget word that we would like to say right away after we finish a statement? The most possible way to handle the situation is that to take a pause. Jadi ada jeda, okay? Karena kita lupa naskah berikutnya yang mau kita sampaikan. The only thing that we have is the last statement, gitu, yang baru saja selesai kita ucapkan, right? And that is the only starting point that we have, gitu. Jadi untuk naskah yang lupa, kita harus bisa cepat-cepat get rid of the thought that we still want to deliver that draft, gitu. Karena kita sudah nggak punya akses untuk remember each point for that. So it is kind of impromptu situation, and it really needs lots of practice to handle this type of situation. Apalagi ada pressure dari penonton, belum lagi yang memandangnya kayak mungkin sinis gitu, atau ada yang tertawa bahkan ya. It's getting more out of hand kalau kita mencoba untuk mengingat. This way is to continue with the closest ideas comes up on our mind after stating our last statement, right? Okay, got disconnected from the main screen. Am I audible from my another account?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
All right. Let me continue, Cam. Sorry for the inconvenience. So, what best to do is to come up with new ideas. Yes, it is not based on what we prepared, but to handle the situation by coming up with something new is best so that we can finish our speech. Gitu. Yang kedua, gimana kalau misalnya ada sesuatu yang mengganggu itu, misalnya ada tiba-tiba ada noise from outside of the room. So there is actually a similar situation to this. It was in my speaking classroom. It was my lecturer there. So we were about to show our slides, the result of our discussions, but there is a technical problem. And what he did, I think, is applicable for us when we are delivering speech or we are doing a public speaking. Of course, the first thing is going to be hard because it's a sudden moment, kita ke distract gitu kan, yang tadinya lancar oke-oke aja kayak barusan saya tiba-tiba ke disconnected gitu, terus harus stay calm, right? But to handle the situation, if you would like to say something, you can make a lighter situation. Jadi situasinya kan nggak mengenakan ya. You can say, I'm sorry, there is a plot twist here. Okay, so it's kind of giving us a lighter atmosphere. Ada plot twist nih, taunya ada technical problem gitu. Or in a very formal way, you can just say, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Gitu. Jadi maaf, ada gangguan sedikit. And then after that, you can continue your speech. Okay, there is no easy way to this, and you really need to practice a lot to get used to handle this situation. That's it for Annie's question.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Jelin, for the answers. Jadi kalau misalnya kalian itu lagi pidato, terus tiba-tiba lupa di tengah jalan, ya udah stay calm, tarik nafas, terus tuh pikirkan lagi apa yang paling dekat yang kira-kira kalian tuh masih ingat gitu. Lalu sampaikan saja. Kalaupun ada kendala, silakan sampaikan saja dengan membuat bilang tadi ya sorry ya for the inconvenience, atau sorry saya kehilangan koneksi atau gimana, seperti tadi ya bilang saja gitu ya. Thank you, Miss Jelin. That's really nice. Next, Safa ya. Okay. Safa. Hello, Safa.
Hello, Miss Jelin. Good night.
Hi.
Okay, so my name is Safa Aulia Ramadhani from Banjarmasin. I want to ask, this seemed to be a similar question from before, but do you have some tips on how can we have a good eye contact with audience? Because I easily feel frightened or panic every time I make an eye contact with others because I feel like I'm being judged or like in a similar way like that. So do you have some tips on how to overcome that situation? Thank you very much, Ms. Zelen.
All right. Thank you for asking. Eye contact is absolutely among the hardest body language to master. Yes, ketika kita ada eye contact dengan entah itu juri atau audiens lain, tiba-tiba kita bisa jadi nervous gitu. Padahal tadinya okay, I need to stay calm, I need to maintain eye contact, tapi bisa aja suddenly kita feel nervous. What we can do on that situation? I think it's common in public speaking. Yeah, it's like a what is it? A rahasia umum ya. If we cannot stand to look at our audience right on their eyes, then what you can stare at itu adalah bagian tengah di antara kedua matanya, right? And that is a very common way to overcome nervousness when we are about or when we are making an eye contact with audience. Terus nih, gimana kalau misalnya kita buat eye contact nih, tapi tiba-tiba, aduh kok jadi grogi ya. The next step is to shift your eye contact to another audience gitu. Jadi untuk fokus ke satu audience atau audience di sudut tertentu, you don't need to take a long time. Karena masih ada sisi lainnya yang perlu kamu perhatikan juga. So, it is also among the tips that you can distribute your eye contact.
Okay, I think we lost her for a moment. Yang lainnya bisa dengar Miss Jelin?
Okay. Yang pertama, okay. I was about to conclude. Right, I'm finished with that.
Have you finished?
Yes, that is
Okay.
pertama.
Okay, so the tips when you are frightened with people, kalau kamu itu nervous ngelihat mata orang yang ada di depan kamu, audience, kamu bisa coba lihat jidatnya ya. Jangan lihat matanya.
Yeah, it's like common, right? And it's
Ya,
okay. It's like the same.
Ya, that's right. Karena kalau lihat matanya tuh kadang ada yang matanya serem, ada yang matanya gimana gitu.
Yeah.
Jadi kadang kita tuh agak-agak nervous kalau diperhatiin ya. Jadi kita bisa pura-pura lihat jidat mereka mungkin. Tengah-tengah jidat ya. Thank you very much Miss Jalin for the tips. Kayaknya sudah sampai situ aja ya. Mohon maaf kalau tidak bisa jawab pertanyaan lainnya. Tapi kalau kalian itu masih mau nanya-nanya lagi, bisa di grupnya nanti ya. Nanti kalian sebutkan aja pertanyaan kalian di grup WhatsApp webinar kita tadi. Nah, by the way, nanti itu bakal ada survei juga, bakalan ada survei tentang webinar kali ini. Itu akan sangat membantu kami untuk menjadi lebih baik kalau kalian mengisi surveinya ya. Jadi surveinya itu tentang kesan-pesannya kalian tentang webinarnya kita kali ini. Terus juga, by the way, kalau kalian ngisi surveinya, itu kalian bakalan dapat potongan harga untuk kelas speaking Zoom kelasnya. By the way, tadi yang kalau misalnya bilang, aduh nggak pede nih ngomong di depan umum, gimana sih tipsnya supaya bisa lancar ngomong bahasa Inggris? Kuncinya itu practice, bener nggak Miss Jalin?
Right. It is like necessary. You can avoid that.
Yeah, you can avoid practicing karena kalau misalnya mau jadi bagus dalam suatu hal, maka kita harus berlatih, right? Nah, buat kalian yang mau berlatih bahasa Inggris, nih terutama speaking ya, kalau kalian bingung di mana, bisa banget latihan di With English. Kita ada programnya namanya apa, Miss?
Speaking Zoom class.
Ya, speaking Zoom class. Nah, nanti kelasnya itu sekitar 10 sampai 15 partisipan dan kalian bakalan diberi kesempatan semuanya itu ya untuk bicara. Oke. Nanti juga bakal dapat feedback dari tutornya dan itu programnya sekitar 2 bulan. Nanti di bulan kedua kalian akan diberi kesempatan untuk menjadi host ya. Jadi bakalan bagus banget buat kalian yang mau praktek public speaking ya kan Miss Delin.
Just like what I'm doing.
Yeah, just like what Miss Yelin's doing right now. Okay, buat please one more question. Oh my God, okay. Is that really important? Okay, boleh deh.
Hani ya.
Ya Hani, oke silahkan.
Okay, Kak Ivana, thank you for the chance. I think it's very important for me. It's about I call it as after speech syndrome. When I'm feeling that do I speak well? Do I act well, or something like that? That's very disturbing me. Is it indicate that I am not good speaker or what? So, jadi kadang-kadang setelah speech itu tadi aku ngomong apa ya? Aduh gimana nih? Jadi itu jadi kebawa-bawa gitu Kak. Jadi kepikiran seharian nggak makan gitu. Terus gimana dong Kak?
Insecure ya. Setelah speech. Bener nggak ya tadi aku ngomongnya gitu? Ada yang salah nggak ya? Kira-kira memalukan nggak ya kayak gitu ya? Oke, Miss Jalin, silahkan.
Thank you.
Right. Is it that worse ya sampai nggak mau makan, kepikiran gitu? But actually that happens. Untuk part kamu bilang, is it a good sign that I'm not a good speaker? Well, I would say it is never related to that, gitu. Kenapa sih kok kita overthinking gitu, terus merasa insecure, terus tiba-tiba mungkin kita enggan ketemu sama teman dari satu tim karena kita terus-terusan kepikiran, malu-maluin nggak ya, tadi tuh salah nggak sih pengucapannya, logis nggak sih solusi yang aku sampaikan gitu. Well, that's actually common because it's like the cause of having too much stress before you deliver a speech. You are given time to prepare to be, let's say, perfect in delivering your speech gitu. So, kamu itu dapat tekanan untuk nggak melakukan kesalahan, and akhirnya ini stres terakumulasi jadi bentuk self evaluation. Jadi setelah speech, after speech effect ini salah satu bentuk self reflection dari yang awalnya kamu tuh mencoba untuk okay, I can handle this, I need to be good, I need to be perfect, I need to be presentable, I need to be pronounce these words correctly, I need to make zero mistake gitu. So if you are feeling this way, please never consider and please reduce the thought that you are not a good speaker, right? Because public speaking is actually a skill that can be improved all the time. It doesn't stuck there, gitu. Jadi ketika diri kita mendapatkan active speech effect, I guess what you need is probably to take some time alone by yourself and avoid conversation related to the speech itself. Gitu. Kalau semakin dibicarakan, semakin triggering thoughts gitu yang makin bikin overthinking. Karena kalau efeknya sampai nggak mau makan seharian atau bahkan merasa sangat rendah diri gitu, that is actually juga concerning gitu kan. Take your time, avoid the talk about the speech, or meet your mentor. Temui pelatihmu, apa yang kamu rasakan gitu. Your coach know your best, know the best gitu. Jadi mungkin kamu ini butuhnya ditenangkan dulu. So that is among the way to relieve the after speech effect. I hope it helps.
Ya, thank you very much, Miss Jalin. Ya tadi tipsnya kalau misalnya suka kepikiran abis speech gitu ya, coba hilangkan dulu pikiran-pikiran jeleknya, karena itu bukan berarti kita tuh public speaker yang jelek ya, karena public speaking itu ada apa namanya ya, bakalan terus berkembang gitu semakin sering kita lakukan gitu. Mungkin itu masih awal-awal, masih pertama-tama gitu ya, jadinya masih takut. Dan tadi benar banget sih obrolin apa yang kamu pikirkan sama mentor ya. Karena mentor tuh paling tahu banget, pasti dia nonton kan saat kita speech. Jadi saat kita bertanya kepada dia kira-kira apa yang kurang, feedback ya, minta feedback ya. Dia juga bakal ngasih kelebihan kita gitu. Jangan hanya fokus pada kekurangan, tapi juga pada strength, right? Karena kita itu nggak ada yang sempurna, manusia nggak ada yang sempurna. Pasti ada aja salahnya.
We're improving, don't worry.
Don't worry. Gitu. Okay, I think that's all for today's webinar. Thank you very much everyone for coming to this webinar. Tadi ada sekitar 100 orang ya, almost 100 participants, and wow, awesome. And hari ini juga keren banget Miss Jalin, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ya, ada kata-kata terakhir nggak?
Okay, as a closing statement right. I will not sound as a speaker right now, so I will just say, public speaking is among the skills that we can improve. So as we are in the process of polishing our speech, our public speaking skill, believe the process. Okay, we may stuck at some point, like feel the feeling of not improving at all, but that is also one of the processes. So keep doing on what you are doing, and if you feel like you want to quit that, remember why do you start it at the very first place.
Okay, that's really powerful. Thank you very much, Miss Jalin, for the insightful tips and trick about public speaking. Sayang banget ya kita harus tutup webinarnya. Gak kerasa udah 1 jam lebih ya. Oke, by the way, kalau kalian masih ada pertanyaan, silahkan tanya aja nanti ke grup WhatsApp kita. Di situ juga nanti kita akan kasih kalian link untuk isi survei. Jangan lupa diisi ya surveinya. That's all from me. Thank you very much. And I'll see you guys in the next We Talks. Bye. Yeah. I'm gonna end this.
Thank you so much. Okay.